I'm heading out, man. You want to ride?
No, I got my car, but I actually really need to go to the bathroom.
Dude, are you okay?
I am definitely buzzed.
Yeah.
I think I will take this, and I will take that ride home.
Welcome to the 34 Motorsports Product Showcase. We're proud to offer the full line of Simpson Racing safety products. The Shark Speedway is a perfect brain bucket to keep your melon as safe as possible. We carry every model and size of Hans device, and these have saved countless lives. The Hybrid Pro Light is an alternative to the Hans device and is just as effective. The DNA 3-layer suit offers maximum protection when things get hot. And hey, dude, those comfy shoes won't help one bit when things go south. Keep those hands ready to work with a pair of Vortex FIA gloves meeting every current standard. From 5 to 7 points, we carry every one of the Simpson harnesses, keeping your rear end right where it should be. Keep all your gear clean and together with the helmet and FHR bag, and always be ready to hop in a race car. Visit 34motorsports.com and order today.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Highside Hustle right here on the National Racing Network. Adam, Rubright, Bert, Wojcik, our executive producer, they killed it one tonight. Chris Graham, he is with us as well. It is another great week after in such a PA here. Mother Nature is probably going to absolutely dick us over this week. Look like on Saturday it's going to be a lot of the white stuff, a lot of the moist. So we just lost about 10 viewers from that. But anyway, not looking forward to this weekend, but Big Sexy, we had a hell of a weekend last weekend, didn't we, bud?
We did. I really enjoyed Lincoln. Hell of a feature. Definitely hats off to Putney and the rest of the gang. I was able to watch some of the feature from Port Royal. Looked pretty good. You know, Lance doing Lance things out there. But overall, you know, can't knock it for the first doubleheader weekend in Pennsylvania for the year.
Absolutely. not? Of course, you can see all the results here. We'll go over Lincoln here in just a minute, and Port Royal as well. 34 Motorsports sticker down below has all the results on that, so check them out. Drop a comment in there in the comment section below. If you went anywhere this weekend, what you thought of the racing and what you think you might see this weekend. Obviously, the World of Outlaws are kind of going to be the only thing going on this weekend, so give us a shout out on that. Also, the coin. You have the coin this weekend. So give us your picks on that in the comment section below. Let us know you're watching. Share this out. And also for everyone listening on podcasts, thank you very much for that. We cast last week with our great interviews with Freddie Raymer and Kevin Thomas Jr. But tonight on the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel Hotline, coming up first, she was the pit reporter of USAC for the longest time, and now she's made her way all the way up to IndyCar for our first night of celebrating Women's History Month. We're going to have the great Georgia Henneberry on with us here in just about 15 minutes, or 10 minutes, I should say. And just after that, we're going to have a good friend of ours here, host, or one of the co-hosts of the Turn 5 Turnaround every week. See that over on Turn 5, their Facebook page. Shea, Judy would join us, talk a little bit of late model, something we haven't really talked about a lot this year, Adam.
I can't wait to talk a little bit of late models. It's been a hot minute. We haven't really dug too far down the rabbit hole that is late model land, but it should be fun.
Absolutely. So let's get into what we saw over the weekend here. First off, let's start off with Lincoln. Holy shit. 30 laps of green flag racing. You didn't know what was going to happen on a daylight surface, a warm daylight surface nonetheless. Probably maybe a little bit windier than last week. But holy shit, Fred Putney, what a job you guys did. What a job. That race was out of its mind. Sliders everywhere. And, for the longest time, I really thought we were going to be talking about, Chase Dietz up in the front there for a while. He was leading a lot of that race. TJ Stutz right there as well at the start of this race here. But, man alive, I'm still can't get over the fact and how great that track was for a daylight surface down at Lincoln. It's just, that was second to none job by Putney. It was. And go out and watch Macri not only do what he did, come up from, I know it was only from third. Macri only came from third to get the win, but it still was a lot of fun to watch. But then you have Danny Dietrich come up from 16th to 4th and get hard charger on a daylight track at Lincoln. Listen, I know you compare Lincoln and Port Royal all you want this weekend. Lincoln won this weekend, I think. I thought the track was a little bit better at Lincoln. I thought the race, obviously sliders galore at Lincoln. I just thought, I think it's asked a little bit here this weekend, but I think it's well-deserving, honestly.
Yeah, I tend to agree. The feature was done in, 7 minutes and some odd seconds?
Missed the 30-lap record.
Yeah, wasn't the record like 7:49 and the record, or something silly like that? It was like 7 or 8 seconds that they missed it by, but great racing all over and everywhere you looked. Like you mentioned, Double D coming 16th to 4th, a hell of a run by him. The battle between Dietz and Macri and Stutz was out of this world. I really thought Dietz had a chance there, but a couple mistakes towards the end. What can you do? Second race of the year, he'll get one. The car has a lot of speed in it right now, and I think he's due for one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Chase, I think they're starting to get their fell in together with that 39 car, the Tron Outdoor car. And a lot, again, it's based on the draw. It starts off with the draw where, you have a guy like Jordan Gibbler last week, had a great run last week at the Icebreaker. And this week, his draw is shit, and he can't do much. I don't think he even made it out of, actually, no, he was involved in the wreck in the B-Main, which, Picasso, I think went live on TikTok. So, you have that, and then obviously you have, again, Dietrich drawing terrible, but he can, at least make his way up through the field, so he found the moisture up there. But Anthony Macri, he was so close last week at the Icebreaker. He looked decent last week at the Icebreaker. But this week here, it seemed like they had that car on their level, and I wouldn't be surprised if they stick a little bit more this year. I wouldn't be. I think their strong suit obviously is Port Royal, but I wouldn't be surprised if they stick down Lincoln this year a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I forget who I was having this conversation with the other day. I think everything going on in the world is going to have a lot to say with where people race. You know, fuel prices, not only for the rigs and the haulers to get up and down the road, but the fuel price for racing fuel and things like that. And I think it's going to be a crapshoot. I think you're going to see a lot of guys staying closer to home rather than traveling out unless they have a multi-million-dollar budget. But I don't know. I could be wrong. We'll see what happens.
We will see what happens. So Anthony Macri picked up his first win of the year over TJ Sutz, which I'm going to talk about him a little bit here. Great run for TJ. That team needed that, and it was really cool after the race. They had Ethan, his son, in the car, do some hot laps there. I think one like his second or third time in the 410. That was fun to watch there. But TJ, nice run for him as well. Chase Seats third, Danny Dietrich fourth, and Buddy Kofoid rounds out top five. So a very solid run for Mr. Kofoid as he wraps up his weekend in Central PA. And our boy KTJ, a very solid run too until the steering broke and the steering wheel came off in his hand.
Yeah, and he was worried about the problem he was going to have of not being fast enough or just completely sucking.
Oh, he was fast.
You were pretty fast. You won your heat race against Macri, who was coming, by the way.
And broke too, by the way.
Just had a mechanical issue go wrong and took him out of probably what I thought was going to be more than likely a top 10. So,
yeah. But good on KPJ. I think there's going to be a lot of fun to watch with him. Coming up here, so good on Buddy Kofoid as well. All right, so let's switch it up and let's go at the Port, where no surprise here, best car at Port Royal the last 6 years, the 69K. Lance DeWeese goes out. Not only does he get career win number 120, but he also gets his fifth season opener as well at Port Royal. And this is where I think that I don't know. The feature, I think the late model feature is better than the 410 feature, but I'll take Lincoln's 410 feature. But Port wasn't bad. Honestly, I thought Mike Wagner had something in that closing laps there. I really thought Mike Wagner was going to be able to kind of nip DeWeese in the bud there, but just wasn't enough there to get Lance, who's just so freaking good at Port Royal.
Yeah, that car at Port Royal, but basically anywhere he goes is damn near unstoppable. Like you mentioned, Mike Wagner had a hell of a run. I honestly thought he was gonna get him there towards the end, but I think Mike Wagner has one of the best opportunities to put together a real strong season, just like he did a couple years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but again, I think it's going to be down between his son Logan and Anthony for the championship. But we'll see what it comes out to. So Lance DeWeese picks up the win over Mike Wagner. Justin Peck, a good third place finish. Danny Dietrich with the fourth place, and Logan fifth place. And in the late models, Colton Flinner goes out, gets the super late model win. Decent race there. I think let's talk about this at the top of the show here. 17 cars at Port Royal. What?
And
17
for
late
what?
At Port Royal.
Times are tough, man.
Really?
Times are tough.
$4,000 to win, nice weather. I don't know, man. That ain't right. That just ain't right. But hey, you know what? Whatever. Still put on a good show. Late models are fun. Colton looked good, very good. I thought Gary Stuhler, he looked very good as well. Yeah, I didn't really get to watch too much of late model feature. I got to watch a little bit of it, but good on Colton, who picked up the win over Kyle Hardy, Gary Stuhler, Trevor Feathers, and Kyle Lee. So as we wait for Georgia to roll in here, World Outlaws over the weekend, where it was Texas two-step down at the Cotton Bowl Speedway. First night, Sheldon Hanshield uses the hard line to go and get the win at Cotton Bowl. Pretty good race on Friday night, actually.
Yeah, I thought so. Which I called it, by the way, that he was going to he was going to be the first repeat winner of the season. So you're welcome for my greatness.
Yeah, get out of here. That's enough out of you.
No,
Anyway,
I'm just kidding.
yeah.
Either way,
Okay.
great race.
So
You know,
anyway,
the typical hardline doing hardline things.
hmm yeah, Sheldon looked good on Friday night. Looked really good. So Sheldon picked up the win over Corey Lyson, which, by the way, J Mac probably should have won that race until he got a flat tire. Just saying. So,
Yeah,
but anyway, Brad
he was
Sweet
on a
third,
roll.
Logan Shewhart, he was fourth. Logan Shewhart, and fifth was Donnie Schatz. Then Saturday night, Carson Macedo gets the win, which I thought Sam Haferteef had a good shot at getting this win too. But Carson Macedo,
Yes.
he just had the better car on Saturday night. Not much else you can say on it. Um, he looked a little bit better than what Haferteef was. Um, not much else you can say there. I think there, Adam.
No, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that somebody races 90 sometimes a year and somebody else races 45, 60 times a year. You know, you get when you get to race as much as the Macedos and basically all the Outlaws do throughout the year, you know, you're going to have a better idea on what a track's going to do. Yeah, it was technically home turf for Sam, but in the same way, you know, you get a little bit more of a notebook, so to speak, because you know what maybe a track's going to do compared to what it's not going to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but anyway, good on Carson. First win of the year over Sam Haferteef. James McFadden third. Logan Schuhart fourth. And David Gravel rounds out the top five. And that will actually keep Gravel in the points lead with the World of Outlaws. And here's the weird thing, all right? You have a two-way tie in second between Sheldon Hansfield, Johnny Shaws, both 16 points back. And then a tie for fourth between James McFadden and Brad Sweet, both 32 points back. I know we're only, 7 races in the year? It's kind of tight to have this early four-way tie for second and fourth.
Yeah, I thought so too. It should be interesting to see how it plays out. You know damn well that that's going to change simply for the fact that people are going to go through mechanical issues and DNFs and heck, probably not even going to qualify after for certain races and have to take a provisional. So, and it's a long season. Anything could shape out, but I think it's going to be a good points battle down to the end this year.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Well, we're going to take our first commercial break of the night. When we come back on the other side of this break, join us on the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel hotline. We're going to have the great Georgia Henneberry. Stay tuned, folks. You're watching the Highside Hustle right here on the National Racing Network.
Welcome to the 34 Motorsports Product Showcase. We're proud to offer the full line of Simpson Racing safety products. The Shark Speedway is a perfect brain bucket to keep your melon as safe as possible. We carry every model and size of Hans device, and these have saved countless lives. The Hybrid Pro Light is an alternative to the Hans device and is just as effective. The DNA 3-layer suit offers maximum protection when things get hot. And hey, dude, those comfy shoes won't help one bit when things go south. Keep those hands ready to work with a pair of Vortex FIA gloves meeting every current standard. From 5 to 7 points, we carry every one of the Simpson harnesses, keeping your rear end right where it should be. Keep all your gear clean and together with the helmet and FHR bag, and always be ready to hop in a race car. Visit 34motorsports.com and order today.
ladies and gentlemen, to the Highside Hustle right here on the National Racing Network. Bert Wojcik, Big Sexy Adam Rubright, and join us on the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel Hotline. She started out, we all know her from her work over on Flow the last couple of years, but now she has gone big time NTT Indycar Series, the great Georgia Henneberry. Georgia, thank you so much for joining us here tonight.
Hello. Hello. You're so sweet. Thank you. I've never had an intro like that.
Well, we're pretty good at that. We're pretty good at, sucking up to our guests and all that. But hey, you know what? It's great that you took some time out for us here. You're a busy gal right now, doing some IndyCar stuff, and you started out last weekend, your first gig with IndyCar. Tell us how that went and what that feeling was like to be over on the pit road on such a massive series like that the first time.
It was definitely a surreal experience. I've helped before with the month of May and the Indy 500, and I filled in for a couple races last year. But to finally stand there and just take it all in for a moment and say, hey, you know what? I'm on this tour now for the whole year of 2022. It was just a very surreal moment for me because it's something that I've definitely been working towards for a couple years now. And, at the end of the day, the dream job is to be a pit reporter for IndyCar on the broadcast or just working with the series and things like that. And the goal is I'll move up and be better every single time that you get on the mic or get a different opportunity and stuff like this. So to take it all in the first weekend and somewhere as beautiful as St. Pete, I couldn't even make it up. It was a dream.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one of the most beautiful places on earth, in my opinion. I'd honestly love to go catch a race there. But so, as everyone knows, you started pit reporting for USAC on Flow, and you kind of dabbled around with the World of Outlaws. So, and obviously you have your dream job now with IndyCar. But talk to us about the days from USAC and the World of Outlaws. How did that all start, and basically how did you get from there to here?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I do want to preface it by saying I'm still going to do about 25 all-star races with Flow this year. So, whichever races don't conflict with the IndyCar schedule and the Indy Lights schedule, I'll be at a dirt track somewhere and working with Flo and the All-Stars and Blake Anderson, who's incredible at what he does, like best in the business. So I'll still be at quite a few dirt tracks this year doing that. But really it all started back when I raced go-karts myself. I raced asphalt go-karts, and then I had a micro for a season before my family just kind of, we all know we're in motorsports. It takes money to be in motorsports, and the family just wasn't really in that situation there. So I got a job at Worldwide Technologies Raceway, which was Gateway actually at the time, and because I'm from St. Louis, and I was still racing go-karts and dabbling in it and whatnot. And Levi Jones, I'm sure we all know. Levi Jones. But he also worked at Gateway, and so did his wife, Heidi. And we got to know each other. And when Levi and Heidi went over to be the race director and so on at USAC, they were looking to create a position where someone could do social media. They could show fans kind of an inside experience, really just heighten the brand on social media and let fans experience it in a different way. And so they asked me to do it. I was like, yeah, of course, this sounds awesome, and fell in love right away. I still remember my first interview ever was with Justin Grant at Terre Haute, and it was the most awkward thing I've ever done in my life. I've never given an interview before. I'd never talked on a microphone before. All I'd done before is just hold a phone in front of my face and say, hey guys, welcome. What's going on? But right then I was like, you know what? This is awesome. Like, I feel like if I keep doing this is going to be really great. And it was a learning experience for a little while. And then it was like, I'm getting more comfortable. I'm really liking it. I was also in high school at this time. So, that high school is a pretty pivotal point where you're like, okay, what am I going to do with my life here? I'm going to go to college, or I'm not, or gonna do whatever. And I decided that I really wanted to be a professional broadcaster, professional pit reporter, you know, in motorsports. And so I went to college, I got a communications degree, and I was with USAC for 5 seasons. Then parted ways a little bit and dabbled in some of the World of Outlaws races, and then went and did the Summer Nationals last year while also helping during the month of May at the Speedway. And it's just kind of progressed into this role, and I was very, very persistent on the IndyCar role. Every month, basically, I'd reach out to my contact and be like, hey, just me again. I really, really, really would like to be on this tour. I would really like to work for you and things like that. And finally, it was just in a position where it worked out. And I was actually on my way to the first All-Star race of the year in Sonoya when I got the call. So plans changed very, very quickly. And I want to give all my good graces to Michael Rigsby and Flo and everything for being so supportive of getting the role and being able to work with me and switch up the schedule a little bit, because it was going to be 55 races, and now, you know, then it changed to 25, and they were so supportive. So it's just kind of been a progressing role, and I hope that it keeps happening.
Absolutely. Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting here too. Is that, you know, you mentioned that your goal was IndyCar. Why IndyCar over, say, like NASCAR? Is it just because of your roots of, you know, being at the Speedway a lot, or is it just that that's always kind of been like the end goal for you?
Growing up, we were just very a divided household between IndyCar and NASCAR, and I love NASCAR. If I got opportunities with NASCAR, I would 100% take them. But being in the Midwest and then moving to Indy to work with USAC and things like that, it just made me fall in love with IndyCar even more. And I was just so close to it all the time, and so it means a lot to be on that tour, just being around it all the time and stuff like that. And I mean, I love the racing. I love the atmosphere. It's just, yeah.
And you know, IndyCar is on the up right now too. You can't deny that. I think IndyCar is it's such. I mean, personally, I started really kind of tuning in more last year after how good the 500 was.
Yeah.
And just like, wow, this is definitely not what I've seen over the last couple of years. I mean, the racing has been so just fantastic. And you know, you look at last weekend, you know, at St. Pete, you had a really good race on a road course, you know, and that's something I think that I don't want to say in America we're not entirely used to, because there's a lot of good road course here, but road course racing is kind of like a European thing, you know. I mean, obviously, if you appreciate, you know, Formula One and IndyCar, you kind of appreciate road course a little bit more. But to have that, and I think that to a wide audience of what IndyCar has, I think
Right.
it's on the up and up right now.
Definitely. I just actually read a stat. Like this IndyCar race was the most watched non 500 race since like 2011 or something like that. So,
Wow.
I mean, that should tell you something right there. It's definitely on the up and up. It's just, I mean, and being at the races and the atmosphere and stuff like that, you can definitely tell that these fans are just so motivated by the sport and what goes on. It's pretty incredible to see. And I'm learning too, because, you know, for the last 6 years, for 91 days out of the year, I was at a USAC race or a dirt track race and stuff. So, you know, being around that atmosphere is different, and it's shifting and stuff as well. But I mean, I love it. I'm adjusting to it. I'm loving it. It's all good.
I can't ask for honestly a better life there. But I remember a couple years ago, I was out in Indiana for the week of the 500. I mean, the place is just absolutely insane. I was out for actually Terre Haute and what was supposed to be the final Hoosier 100, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
But we ended up coming home on Sunday instead of going to the race because tickets were absolutely astronomical. But what's your emotion like the first time you were on the grid and you heard Back Home Again in Indiana?
Oh, insane. It gives you chills. It's like something that you've never experienced before. I mean, the first time I was like, wow. It made me, I don't know if you can fall in love with an event, but that was definitely it. And even more so last year when Elio won his 4th Indianapolis 500, and just watching him climb the fence and run down the front straightaway across the bricks. And I'm not kidding you. I teared up. Like, I was like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. It was awesome. So, I mean, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway has an aura around it that I don't think could possibly be beat.
No,
Yeah,
I think you're right, Georgia. There's nothing about that can be. I need to get there. It's just, it's gorgeous. It is absolutely just, yeah. I need to get there sometime. There's about it
Oh, for sure.
at the 500 that you just kind of get it, that feeling about it, that emotion about it, and that even if the race, like you could have a race like last year where it was just probably one of the best Indy 500s of all time. And yet you can also have races that, might be a little bit of snooze fest, but yeah, it's just the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. There's just something about it, man, that just, as you said, there's an aura about it that attracts people there, and it's a great, it's one of the best places in the world, I think.
Oh, 100%. And I will be the biggest advocate for it until the end of time. I can't even express how much it's just impacted my life so far. And I mean, I'm only 24, so I can't imagine 20 years from now how I'm going to feel about it.
yeah, Bert, you definitely need to go check it out. Even if you don't go see a race there, you have to check out the museum, because there's just, like, you get instant goosebumps and chills the second you make the turn in and you go under the track and you start coming up the hill, up the little ramp, and
Yes.
you see the pagoda and the museum right ahead of you, and it just honestly goosebumps. And like I didn't get to see a race there, but I was at the facility, and it's just absolutely incredible on the raw emotion that goes through you as you're driving up that ramp and you see the pagoda and just the whole facility as a whole.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's switch back thing here now to your interview style, because I think that I've I got to work with you at Port Royal. Obviously, on two different side of things. I was on the 410 side of things. You were on the wingless side of things. What makes a good interview for a pit reporter? I know there's always some could drag it out, some could be too short. But what do you think makes a good like pit interview?
That's a tough question. I always think emotion makes a really good interview. I think that even if it's bad, like, I mean, obviously everyone wants really great emotion, but I think sometimes even when it's the opposite side as well, like any sort of emotion. I mean, we work in kind of a high stakes element. So anytime that someone's really truly expressing their feelings, I think that makes a really great interview, because you know that they mean what they are saying. And it's not just the typical. I think sometimes today in motorsports and really any sport, it gets a little redundant. There are certain things that people need to say and have to say all the time, and that's totally fine. But I really like getting down to the nitty gritty and trying to bring real emotion out of people.
Yeah, that I think that's so important. Honestly, is that if you can get that raw emotion out, it makes it so much better. Now, I mean, I'm not saying like I don't know what your thoughts on it, but at the Chili Bowl, I don't like when they go right up into their face right after they wreck. I always felt like that was kind of thrown away because they're trying to go for that flip. I don't know what your feelings on that
That's my least favorite thing to do in the world.
Thank you. Thank you.
I hate doing it, and like I know hate's a strong word, but I really do. Like it makes me cringe at doing it for sure. So I don't like doing it either. I understand that sometimes producers and whatnot want that, because that is, I mean, that is raw emotion. But I mean when everyone's safe and in a good spot to talk, not so much like, hey, you just flip 4 times on the front straightaway, let's get a word. It's like,
yes,
hey, you've made it back to your hauler, what happened there, stuff like that.
Yeah,
like
give
these guys and girls like 10 seconds to comprehend on what the heck just happened. Not like, oh hey, you just wrecked. here's a microphone in your
Yeah.
face. Tell me what happened. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think that's right. But yeah, you're right though. Is that raw emotion? If you can get that out of somebody, like, I always love first time winners. I think everyone does. Especially when you're doing
Oh,
interviews, whether it's short
yes.
track or
Yes.
line. You know, Last year we had. I go back to Justin Whitall last year when he won at the Grove. He earned that. I know him and his family for a while, but he earned that. That raw, we had to have him on the show, and it was still, what was it? We did that interview on a Wednesday night. 4 or 5 days after the Grove, and that motion was still there. I love that shit, man. I mean, that's
Me.
what everyone wants. That's the raw emotion I think you need to get. And I don't know, some of these guys, I feel like that. I think winning gets old for some people and just makes for a hard interview. What do you do when you get in a situation like that? I've always, I've been in that situation a couple times, where somebody like, I'll just say Lance. What do you ask him after, or Kyle Larson? Like, what do you ask him after so many times? Like, it's kind of hard to kind of figure that out, that thought process there. What goes through your head when you have to do that?
I'm sure and I'm sure you could probably feel the same and know too, but I just try to like pinpoint a certain moment in that race. Like if it's a clear winner, like you pretty much know who's going to be the winner. I just try to really hone in on, like a clear moment in that race where it's like, maybe they definitely knew they had it, or they definitely thought that they didn't, or just, something like that to kind of switch up from the, hey, you won again. How do you feel about that? Because obviously they feel great about that. That's awesome. But more so just like hey, I saw, what happened over there in turn one. Did you think this was going to be like a pivotal moment in the race? Or, just something to make it seem a little bit more dramatic.
yeah, definitely. Probably an odd question. Well, not necessarily odd, but out of all of the interviews you've done for across all the different series,
Mm-hmm.
what was your most memorable interview, and who was it?
Oh my gosh, you guys are hitting me with the hard ones.
Hey, I didn't tell you this was going to be easy, Georgia. We didn't tell you that.
Shoot. I honestly
Big,
don't
sexy,
know.
some Georgia?
I
Big,
am
sexy,
like
some
at a
Georgia?
loss for it. I'm just thinking about like all the events I've been to and all, like the different platforms and things like that. I'm thinking, wow. I'm like,
I
I
would honestly
honestly,
have to think it would like Timez or something like
I,
that. Like
I was
someone
just
like
thinking
super
that.
vocal, like outgoing, says like the most
yeah,
off the wall nonsense.
Tima's is
So
definitely always fun. I really like doing interviews at Eldora also. Because anyone who wins at Eldora is always so excited.
Oh
Granted
my
that
God,
they should
CJ
be.
Leary a couple years ago when he won the crown race.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Interviews like that I think are like fantastic because again, you're bringing out the true emotion. I love it. I don't know. I can't pinpoint a certain interview.
I think
wish I
back to
could.
Timez back when he won at Weedsport in 2018. He got out of the car and just said no effing shit. Like I love it there. That was, and you're just standing there like, oh, okay, well, it's Timez.
Yeah.
So let it fly, buddy.
You're like, well, you heard the man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great job.
So,
yes, of course.
I proposed this question to KTJ last week, and he gave me probably one of the better answers on that. Now, you've been around USAC, for last 5 years or whatever. Where do you think USAC is? Obviously, we've had kind of an exodus, with Sunshine leaving, KTJ, Chris leaving. KTJ put in a good point where it's kind of a transition period right now, where it is it's gone the upswing here because the new breeds coming in, the new talents coming in, like Emerson and all those
changing
guys.
of the
But
guards.
in your personal opinion, where do you think that USAC is right now?
Yeah, I think you guys kind of put it in a good way. I think that there's a lot of new talent that's coming in. I mean, you look at the midget field and you see how many 16, 17, 18-year-olds there are. And, I think that they're all so super, super talented and they're going to go really far in the business. And there's a time where I mean, that's just going to happen. People change paths, or they, have been doing it. Like, I mean, I know Chris's situation, like he's been running USAC sprint cars for 15 years now. Even if more. So, just to like possibly go try something new, it's almost just a challenge. It's just something more challenging to their career, challenging to themselves, like a personal challenge as well. And I think USAC's sitting in a great place with all of the new talent coming up for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. By the way, I just got a text from Tyler McCam. He said, "Don't rough up his pit reporter." Well, we already did that pretty well tonight. So
it's because I didn't know my. It's because I didn't know my interview, my favorite interview.
I wish I would have saw that earlier. We would have asked that because you always listen to Team Money. Always listen to Team Money. Hey, Georgia, we have another question here before we let you go here. Probably our last one here. What does it mean to be a role model for girls who want to get into media side of racing? Obviously, you've been through, the ranks. You kind of took the traditional way to go to IndyCar, from USAC to IndyCar. But on the media side of things. But what does it mean to be a role model for the girls that want to get into this side of the sport?
Well, I think that's very sweet that you consider me a role model for girls growing up. That's very nice. I mean, it just is very flattering to hear. It means a lot. I mean, I've been in it for a hot second now, and I think it's the greatest sport out there. I'm obsessed with it. This is my sport. This is where I want to be. And I know that there's a lot of other girls out there that feel the exact same, and it's absolutely possible to stay in it. I mean, there are so many girls in the pits and so many in important roles and impactful roles and meaningful roles. And I think that that's just going to continue happening because there are so many strong and intelligent and genius and incredible women out there. So, I mean, it means a lot for you to say it to me, but then actually feeling it is like pretty crazy.
Absolutely, it's got to be an amazing feeling, and you can actually thank our producer Chris for throwing that out there for us there. That's
Thanks,
that's
Chris.
on him there. So you can we won't pat ourselves on the back. We'll give the Kilton one tonight. He's wearing a freaking Kilton apparently. So I don't know why. Our producer is freaking weird like that. But anyway, Georgia, thank you so much for your time tonight. This has been a blast. Before we let you go, where can they get everything for IndyCar, and where can they find out where you're going to be at this year?
Just on my social media. My Twitter is Henneberry47, and then my Instagram, which I post on more than Twitter actually, is Georgia_Adeline, which is my middle name. So really, just any of those two social medias, I got you.
Perfect.
And
Georgia,
speaking of social media,
thanks so much for coming on.
Speaking of social media, before we let you go, who would have ever thought that a simple start in social media with USAC would lead you to frickin' IndyCar?
Right? Yeah. I know, right? How crazy.
And they say social media is a terrible thing. They say
it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing. We're using it for good. How about that? For once, social media is being used for good.
Exactly.
Georgia, you're the best. Thank you so much for joining us here. We'll see you down the road. Hopefully you get into Pennsylvania for an all-star show. I hope you do.
Yes, I hope so. I definitely will this year for sure.
Awesome. We'll see you then, girl. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
You got it. There she goes, ladies and gentlemen, off the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel Hotline, Georgia Henneberry. Fantastic interview. My God, that was so awesome. It's so cool to have a voice like that in the sport where you watch them kind of come through the ranks and you see what they've done over the last couple of years. And it is absolutely a phenomenal voice. And she's smart. She's very smart when it comes to racing. And I think that, IndyCar is in a very, very good spot report. You're not going to get any, kind of stupid questions from her. You're not going to get anything, dumb. You're going to get a good, honest interview out of her, and that's something that we need in this world, especially in the racing world side and the racing side of things.
Yeah, definitely, and like to anyone out there who wants to get into the broadcasting side of things or anything like that, like social media can be a terrible place, but
Mhm.
it could also be a wonderful, wonderful thing and a wonderful tool. So, I remember when we were kids, everyone was like, "Oh, social media, you're not gonna get nowhere in life." Well, here we are, 20 years later, and social media can literally open up the biggest opportunities for you. And
Yeah.
Georgia's
Well,
just walking
look at
proof of that.
us. Look
Adam,
at us.
Adam, who are you kidding?
What?
Social media has opened doors for you?
Well,
Not
no,
for me
hold on, Chris.
personally,
It
but
has.
like,
No, hold on. It
I'm
has
just an
because
idiot that likes to talk about racing. I mean, like,
yeah,
in the
and
case of
it's
Georgia here,
photos.
like, literally just started off as a goofy person on social media for USAC to frickin' IndyCar. Like,
Yeah,
social media to IndyCar. That's fucking epic.
that's a pretty big jump. And plus, I mean, seriously, Chris. He started. I mean, him and I both started out with just photos on Facebook, and here we are with our own freaking show. I mean, I think that's a success story in its sense. I mean, it's gotten me a spot, with two different racetracks, or now with URC now. So social media, it can be used for a great thing. But I'll defend Big Sexy on this one here. Don't you dare! You leave Datum alone tonight. You leave Datum alone.
All right, we'll leave Datum
Right.
alone.
We'll leave Datum alone tonight. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. What an interview with Georgia. When we come back, we're having another great interview. We're going to talk some late models coming up here with the great Shea Judy from Turn 5 Turnaround. Stay tuned, folks. You're watching the Highside Hustle.
Welcome to the 34 Motorsports Product Showcase. We're proud to offer the full line of Simpson Racing safety products. The Shark Speedway is a perfect brain bucket to keep your melon as safe as possible. We carry every model and size of Hans device, and these have saved countless lives. The Hybrid Pro Light is an alternative to the Hans device and is just as effective. The DNA 3-layer suit offers maximum protection when things get hot. And hey, dude, those comfy shoes won't help one bit when things go south. Keep those hands ready to work with a pair of Vortex FIA gloves meeting every current standard. From 5 to 7 points, we carry every one of the Simpson harnesses, keeping your rear end right where it should be. Keep all your gear clean and together with the helmet and FHR bag, and always be ready to hop in a race car. Visit 34motorsports.com and order today.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Highside Hustle right here on the National Racing Network. Bert Wojcik, Adam Rubright here, and we're just getting off with an amazing interview with Georgia Henneberry. That was fantastic tonight. Like you said, just a great all-around person. We're so glad to have her on and talk a little bit of IndyCar, talk a little about USAC, and just everywhere in between. And yeah, it's been that was a really good one, Adam. Really good. Had a lot of fun with that, and can't wait to see her when the All Stars come into town here, and maybe get to the 500 this year. I don't know if we're gonna, but who knows.
I would love to go to the Indy 500, even as a fan, just to sit there and take it all in. Like I said, when we had her on the hotline there, but it when you come up go down underneath the track and come up the other side, man, there's something about it because you have the Pagoda, which is such an iconic staple of that racetrack, and it honestly kind of takes your breath away. And
Adam,
I hope I'm with you
if I can jump
when
in
you get
here
to see
with
it.
you guys for a second.
Wait, I thought we were allowing you to talk tonight, Chris.
Just for this one moment. It's giving me goosebumps now because you can't see the speedway when you're driving through, even from Lucas Oil out to the stadium or to the speedway. You kind of can't see it. It just kind of happens upon you.
Yeah. You start seeing checkered flags.
Signs, and then you see the sign to turn into the infield at gate 10. And it's like, I thought I knew what Indy means. And then you get there.
Yeah.
That place is special's not the right word for it.
No. There's I don't even think you can find the correct words for that place. Like you said, like it just kind of happens. You're driving. Next thing you know, you start seeing like checkered flags pop up, and then out of nowhere, bam, there it is.
Yeah,
it's just it takes
quite
your
frankly,
breath away.
It's like every little dirt track in America.
Yeah.
It just so happens that you pull through the gate and you go, you literally drive under Spin and Win to go to the museum.
Yeah.
There's just so many things that you go around that place and it's emotional. You can look at spots and say, Eddie Sachs died there. Tony Bettenhausen died there. Like, it's not just, oh my God, this is a great racetrack. It's everything. The place is just absolutely incredible.
Speaks. Like you can just stand there and you can feel the history at the place. There's not too many venues that are like that.
No, and God, I need to go experience it. I really do. Yeah. So,
Bert, we did
we're
it.
Working on getting Shea?
Well, yes, we're working on Shea. Our buddy Bizzle and I did the Speedway as tourists the day before an event. So we did the museum and we did the get on the bus and ride around, do the whole bit. And then the next day, I'm interviewing Tony Stewart on the Yard of Bricks. And I had a moment where I went, holy shit, we made it. And there was nobody there. I cannot imagine the energy of that building on race day when there are 300,000-400,000 of your closest friends there.
I couldn't either. I think that's absolutely insane, honestly. I couldn't imagine that beyond that. And you know, Chris, we always have that we made it moment, and I think that's God, that's such a surreal feeling to be a part of, and to just to see that. I think it's I think it's got to be an absolute moment. But yeah, we're working on Shea right now, coming up here. But Adam, while we work on Shea, can we start on Finch's meat markets news and notes while we get Shea here?
Yeah.
Nobody can beat his meat.
Can.
There it is, like Finch.
Before we get into it, the website right now looking at tickets, and I don't know, it's more reasonably priced than I thought.
What is it, $25 or $40 race day general admission?
Looks like $40 for race day general admission, but you can get seats anywhere between, God, what? So you can start getting seats in turn 3 from anywhere between 55 to $85. And then the closer you get to the start finish line, you're looking at about 130. And then tickets go back. Well, you can start getting tickets that aren't reserved anyway, down in the middle of one at 113. And
Yep.
that
Right
stays
in the
pretty
middle
much
of turn 1, as high as you can possibly go. You will see it all.
Yeah. For that, you're looking at it says best available $113, which still I'd pay $113 to go to the Indy 500.
Adam, one of the things that I have got to have 100,000 laps around the speedway on iRacing and all the various sims. None of them do it justice. I don't know if you did the tour or not, but when you go down the
we
front
didn't get a chance
straightaway,
to.
they say drive till you see God, turn left. That is exactly what it is. You are driving into a wall of humanity, and you just have to turn left at the right instant and know it's going to stick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The balls on the men and women that do that.
I've done that on iRacing multiple times. Like you try and pick a point, but it's almost you're right, Chris. You guys wait till you see God, and then you turn and you pray your tires have enough on them. Pray they do. So we're still working on getting Shea Judy here, folks. He's having a little bit of technical issues here, but yeah, that's not too bad actually. Hopefully gas prices come down by then, so we can maybe hightail it to Indy.
I mean, even if they don't, it's
that's
8
bucket
hours.
list stuff.
Hold on. I do not want the Southwest Visa deck. General admission. God, we're going down a fucking rabbit hole here today while we wait for Shea.
Yes, we are. All right, boys. How about we continue with Finch's Meat Market news and notes here?
Yeah, we'll get into that right quick. So basically, what we got this week is impending weather and low temperatures forces the cancellation for Port Royal and also on Saturday, and also Georgetown for Saturday, which sucks because me and Bert we're definitely looking forward to getting down to Georgetown this weekend for the Melvin Memorial. Here's one that I thought was kind of a bit of a surprise. David Reagan is going to return to NASCAR for Rick Ware for the Atlanta race. So that should be a fun storyline. That should be a fun storyline to keep up on.
Absolutely.
If you saw it, don't answer. If not, somebody take a guess on how many cars are registered for the Shamrock Classic this weekend at DuQuoin.
I did not see it, but I have. But I do talk a lot with Drake York from USAC.
Okay.
Can I guess a perfectly nice 69?
Nice.
Nice. No, actually, I wish there were 69 cars there. There's 42, which is quite impressive for a 2-day show. I think this is the first time they're doing a 2-day show as well. So that should be interesting.
Yeah, I think that DuQuoin's always a fun event. I think that it's gonna be it should be a good show. I really do. I don't know if she is or not, Chris. That's a good question.
I believe yes. I believe she is, yes, sir.
I just sent a message to the guys asking if this was Lauren Stewart still promoting this.
Yeah, I believe she is. Hold on. Somebody hop on Twitter real quick. Hold on.
I can see Shea logging in.
Oh.
I just don't see video or audio for him yet.
You got me all excited, Chris. I thought we finally had our boy.
It, if you look at her Twitter, everything still points that she is promoting it. You have, because she just posted 2 hours ago, Friday schedule, pricing, things along that line. And she's been sharing the heck out of ShamrockClassicTheCoin.com. So
Can we say
all
incredibly
signs
badass? Lauren Stewart
Yes.
was the fiance of Brian Clausen. Lauren Stewart could have walked away from the sport and nobody would have said a word.
Yeah.
Diana Clausen could have walked away and nobody would have said a thing. Two incredibly badass women.
Yeah.
Ain't wrong there, Chris. Ain't wrong there.
Yeah, you're definitely not wrong. And plus, we still get to see our good buddy. God. Yeah. The dog. Stewart.
Oh, yeah, Chevy.
Oh, yeah, Chevy. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Chevy.
Stewart's
Chevy
the other
Clausen.
one. Yeah, Stewart's the other one, the second edition. But yeah, you still get to see the both of them. I saw Chevy, I believe, at Knoxville last year, I think. Something like that. So it's always good to see that little guy. Anyway.
Fort Worth a couple years ago. Anyway, yes.
Anyway, we're going down fucking rabbit holes here that we don't really need to go down.
You'll have these
Mitchell
good
Moles
jobs.
is going to return to USAC Midgets full time this year for CB Industries.
Good for Mitchell.
Which didn't he stop racing to go fishing or something?
Something like that.
Something off the wall.
I remember it was something weird, yeah.
And the last thing I have is about Love Sprint Cars. Add a second date at Weedsport, which very nice. I might actually, if I get a beater car by then, I actually have to drive to Weedsport for 2 days.
You can make that happen. You'll enjoy Weedsport. I need to go see a wing race up there. Wingless, as I said with Georgia here, it was awesome with Weedsport when USAC was up there. But yeah, it's definitely an experience up there. It literally, it's in the middle of nowhere in New York. It just pops up in the middle of a cornfield, and it's pretty badass.
Yeah, it's fun. I always like getting the new tracks. There's just something about pulling into a different track for the first time, which makes it super interesting. Like the first time I went to Eldora, you're just like you kind of said there with Weedsport, you're just kind of driving through literally cornfields, and then bam, this mecca of racing appears. Same with Knoxville. You're driving through this little, you're driving through corn, and then you get to this little tiny small town, and then there it is. You're like,
and what? Maybe three turns
where did that come
total,
from?
I think it was. Maybe, and I'm not even talking about. I'm not even
from
talking
our
about
hotel to the racetrack. I made 2 left-hand turns,
and that includes the turn, like the turns on the road too. That includes that. That's not talking about like just regular like a full right hand turn, full left hand turn. I think there was a total like 4 turns to the track, and that includes just little curves or whatever to Knoxville from the hotel to
the first sprint car race I ever saw, winged 410s, was at Knoxville. And people in the Midwest are, we'll say, delusional on what they think reasonable drive times is. I won't tell the whole story, but my buddy said, hey, we're going into Knoxville for the races. And I was a dumb, ignorant dirt fan. Well, I wasn't a dirt fan yet. And I'm thinking we were driving from Des Moines to Tennessee. And it is no joke. Another of those places right in the middle of town. And you go, oh my God, this is Knoxville. And weekly racing there was just incredible to watch.
It'll make you a fan, Chris. It will. I mean, you saw the time Adam and I had out there last year. I mean, the place is, God,
You don't
Oh.
remember.
Yeah, and
Oh, no, that was Bristol that you don't remember. Knoxville, you
Oh no,
remember.
I remember the racing at Bristol. I just don't remember my birthday at Bristol. Get that right. Adam remembers my birthday at Bristol. I don't.
very much so. Payback is coming, my friend.
Payback is coming.
And
I
I'm gonna
know.
make it. I
As I
am gonna
said,
make it painful.
but all I said is that I know you won't tell me when it's happening, but just give me a heads up like a day in advance so I can
No,
plan
no, you're not
to
getting a day
drive.
in advance.
No, so I
No,
can
no,
plan to drive.
no.
I think that's fair. I'm
I'm
not
just
gonna
gonna
back out on
call
it.
you and
That's
I'm
a
just gonna
big
call you and
negative.
say, yeah, yeah, you're not. I had no warning that the night was gonna go where it did.
You
So
think I had any
literally, I'm
warning?
just.
I had no warning on that.
Hey, Bert.
Your warning was tequila. Okay.
Bert, have you ever heard BOHICA?
Bohica.
It's an acronym.
Oh God.
Bend
I don't think
over.
I have.
Here it comes again.
Well, no, this one is just bend over. Here it comes. This ain't again. This is just.
I'm literally just gonna call you on any given race day, whatever race day I choose, and say, "Hey, you're driving today," and it might be a slippery slope. It might not be. You never know.
If that'll be a slippery slope, or else I will be very disappointed in you.
Mm,
Very, very disappointed
you're
in you.
severely underestimating how much I can drink, my friend.
I've seen how much you can drink. We've had Daytona 500 together. We've had sessions together. I've seen how much you can drink when you hang out with the Mosers. Obviously, you need to have a high tolerance for shenanigans, and that's
Even
yeah,
shenanigans.
even shenanigans. But all right, so we're still trying to work on Shea here. He's having technical issues. We'll get them rectified here. If not tonight, we'll get him back on maybe next week or something like that. But can we go? Oh wait, Shea's here, but I can't see or hear anyone. He just text chat there, Chris. See if you can't rectify that. Anyway, so NASCAR this past weekend. Alex Bowman, is he lucky, or did he make the right call at the right time?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I didn't get a chance to watch any of the race. I had planned all week to watch at least the highlights of it. I just never got around to it. So I saw all the hype and the hubbub about it.
I will jump in here and say
Come on in,
Alex
Chris.
Bowman is winning the merch game in a huge way.
Yes.
The T-shirt that says "Backing into
Can you put it
wins"
up?
on the back of it, yeah.
Oh my God.
And Alex Bowman's team, crew, and driver absolutely nailed the strategy call.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Busch can run his mouth all he wants. All he does is sound like a petulant little child.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And I was starting to like Kyle Busch a little bit, just from his,
you take that back.
No, hear me out. Hear me out. From his shenanigans at the Tulsa Shootout, I'm like, you know what? He did pretty good out there, and I thought he gave some good interviews. He had a lot of fun out there. So I was starting to become a little bit of a Kyle Busch fan, and then he came back to NASCAR. That went right out the window on that one. So
let's also not forget that Kyle Busch was motherfucking the flagman at Snydersville. Little go-kart track. Because he didn't like the way the race was run.
I don't think I ever heard that story, Chris.
We will share I will send you the tweets.
Okay. Send me the tweets. I need to read that. That's a new one for me. That is a brand new one for me. Okay, well, there you go. Kyle Busch fans, beware on that. But yeah, I thought the race itself was pretty good. You're right, Chris. Bowman's crew absolutely nailed that pit strategy on the end there. And also, he had to drive around Kyle Larson, too, on that restart and hold off Larson. And Larson was all over his ass. Now, if we would have went probably that caution would have came out maybe 8 laps ago. And, we would have gotten maybe a 5-lap restart, 4-lap restart. maybe 4 tires would have worked. And I think that maybe Chastain, which, by the way, shout out Ross Chastain. What a run. That was fun to watch. A lot of good bunch of that race. You got, who else was out there? I think the 4 tire guys would have had a lot more. I think Kyle Busch could have had something on the end of that run. Yeah, but I felt so terrible for that. Martin Truex, I thought he was another one that had a good run at the end of that run. So, yeah. By the way, Formula One testing coming up over the weekend. We had that. Formula One starting next weekend. Mercedes already causing shit with their side pod. So good on Mercs. All ready to see that.
That car looks so damn badass.
All the cars look badass. I'm in love with these new cars. Have you seen them, Pig? New cars? New Formula One cars?
I have not.
Really?
I
Wow.
We'll get an image.
Yeah.
Get an image. Get the new McLaren. I think that thing looks badass. Sorry, those are my 2 favorites.
Formula
Really
One. The problem is, like,
I know it's not your strong
it's
suit,
not
but
even that. It's not even that it's not my strong suit. Like, I thoroughly enjoy it. But in the same aspect, like, I really don't feel like waking up that goddamn early in the morning on my day off.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean,
You know what?
You know, a lot of
I've now found reasons to get up. If you do Saturday, you can watch rugby live on television with a beer in your hand at 8, 9 in the morning. It's like football, but more badass. And then you can get up on Sunday and watch the F1 race with a beer in your hand at 7 in the morning.
The man's a genius. The man
So
is a genius.
So basically, what you're telling me here, in a way, is when I wake up on a Saturday morning and I start drinking for college football game day, you're just giving me another excuse to fucking drink. That's what it comes down to here.
Is that a problem? Are you complaining?
My liver might.
Are you complaining? No, it's Guy Day. It's Guy's Day. Saturdays are for the boys.
No, Saturdays are for the boys, but
Saturdays are for the boys. Sundays are for the boys.
And Sunday morning is just
Race
an
days.
extension of Saturday night.
Or here's the thing. This is getting controversial. Drink wine. You can say it's it's for Jesus on the Holy Sabbath.
oh my god.
Just saying. Just saying, but I have excuses. You know, you're talking. You know.
So So we have a big weekend coming up. I mean, I wish we could talk to Shea about this, but Mr. Technical Difficulties over there. But
yeah, we will get Shea on at some point here soon, folks. We do apologize about that. We were looking forward to talking to late models.
You have the Rev this weekend. The World of Outlaw Late Model Series.
Is there any irony that 2 sprint car and modified guys can't talk to a late model guy?
No, God, and I feel so bad because Shea has had me on Turn 5 twice now, and I always have fun with him and Danny Wilson and the rest of the crew. And I was like, he's, it's kind of like, all right, kind of a payback here. Hey, let's have you on our show, Late Models, because we finally can do that here because I'm free from talking just about sprint cars. And, oh, God, this sucks. But we will have Shea on. We will. We will try for next week's show. We will try for Shea Judy next week on the Highside Hustle, and we will have
the nice thing here is we'll be able to talk to him about hopefully the epicness that's going to be this weekend's upcoming late model races.
Yes.
Instead of trying to run our brains back to, God, almost a month ago now.
There's still plenty to talk about. Don't you worry, Big Sexy. There's still plenty to talk about.
I know.
But, yes, the Rev. This weekend, World of Outlaw Case late models are back down there. That is your early cap. And then night cap, World of Outlaws non-standard sprint car series, Tulare Thunderbolt. We're back at Thunderbolt for the first time in 2 years. Oh, I love Tulare. Oh, it's going to get run up, get bouncy. It's going to be Ella's up. Oh, God, yes. Give it to me.
First off, please don't ever make that noise again. Ever. I mean, ever. Second off, I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's one of my favorite places to watch a race from. It sucks that we're not there. It's definitely a bucket list track. I want to go there just to see it, but man, I can't wait to literally do nothing this weekend besides sit in my house and watch racing on Dirt Vision. Can't believe I'm gonna say that, but
hey, there's nothing wrong with it. Like you look forward to it with Florida. You look forward to it with at the end of the year if you can't make it to whatever or whatever race. I look forward to it on a weeknight. You sit here watch Dirt Vision or whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. And I might show up after I'm over in Pottsville. Drinking green beer all day. I might just show up and say, "Hey, bud, let's go watch the Outlaws."
Green kilts.
Green kilts. Green kilts, green hats. Oh, I'm breaking out that. You remember that steel little hat on I had the Grove opener back in 2019? I can't find that hat.
oh Jesus.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear that. I'm probably gonna wear it for next week's show, by the way. Hey, I gotta support my Irish heritage. I have to. But yes, the Rev this weekend. Looking forward to that. Tulare. What else we got coming up this weekend? Let's see here. As I pull up the ticker.
Georgetown Friday.
Yeah. As Adam mentioned in Finch's News and Notes there, they did do the smart thing Saturday, which I am disappointed about. We were both looking forward to get back down to Georgetown for the big blocks, and that was going to be a fun show. But fortunately not meant to be. So we'll try again, hopefully maybe in the fall, or else Bash at the beach. That's always one of my favorite events. Maybe make a day out of that. Go down. We're hoping it's only like 20 minutes from there, so go down. Sit on the beach for a little bit, go watch some racing. I think that's a hell of a day, don't you think?
Yeah, I'd be down for that, for sure.
Okay. We'll make that happen. We'll see if we can make that happen. What else we got? Lincoln's still running. I think tomorrow they'll probably pull the plug on that, unfortunately. Sunday, God, I hate this so much. This weather.
I'd love to be at Williams Grove on Sunday, but let's face it. If we get the weather we're supposed to get Saturday, I highly doubt it. Not to mention just the weather-wise side of things, but the temperatures.
30 degrees. And which, by the way, I mean, I know we'll probably have Peter on next week on the show. We'll have
30 degrees and a $50,000 motor don't exactly bode well together.
We'll have Peter Rubright on next week here. But as I look at the extended forecast right now, am I looking near 70 for next Friday?
I'd be A-okay with that, to be honest with you.
You might actually get me to the Grove if it's 70
next Friday
and sunny.
Oh yeah, that's right. You were never even there.
Next Friday, high at 65.
Yo, 65 for a Friday night in March.
65.
Sign me up.
Sign me up.
I will be in that. I will be in that parking lot by fucking noon. Sign me up.
It doesn't matter because Chris Hockley is still going to outshoot you anyway.
Oh, I know he will.
Both of you.
Did
you see the new glass he posted today?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's just dirty.
There's no ifs, ands.
Put that kind of tool in the hands of somebody that can actually do incredible stuff with it.
Yeah.
There's a lot to look forward to on the photography side of the racing world.
He's going for the 2-time Highside Hustle photographer of the year. He's going for the 2-time.
He's shot 2 races this year in some practice, and he's already whooping our fucking ass.
Yeah, you'll have that in these big jobs. You'll have that in these big jobs.
Oh my god, the stuff he comes up with is so badass, and the angles that he approaches everything with make it even better.
Yeah, and it helps that he has the access to it. It's well-deserved stuff. It really is. So,
yeah.
Good on Hawk Dizzle. He's going for 2 in a row for the Hustle Awards, which, God, whatever. By the way, Chris, didn't you have a video you wanted to show us?
Yes, we did, actually.
All right, throw that up and let's
A
little bit of
pop-up
context to this, yeah.
shower hit during qualifying for the Daytona 200 today.
And for those who know what Daytona 200 is, it is the MotoGP race. Yikes.
All riders were okay in this, by the way. For those of you
Oh,
listening on the
God.
podcast, sliding along the banking of turns 3 and 4 at 170 miles an hour. No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah, I'm good on that. I love how the dude on pit road just waving a yellow flag, like
Wow.
red, maybe red.
No.
Yeah, throw the
Like
No.
you have a driver sliding through the fucking banking. And,
Yeah. And by the way, if
caution.
you can't see this on the
Caution.
podcast side of things, but they still had the infield a mess from Supercross from this past weekend, by the way. So I always thought they cleaned that up, or I thought they always clean that up for
By the way, boys, I will say this. Shea is my hero.
He's trying like hell, man. I love
He
him.
is trying so damn hard to get connected here. But something with his phone just does not want to like us. So
We will set something up with Shea for next week, and we will get Shea Judy on. He deserves it.
we will pre-record
And
the interview early next week by phone.
yes, we will have something new here. Actually, let me text him that. Actually, by the way.
What is that, like 1, 2, 3?
What is that?
There's got to
He's
be
gotta be-
40 tries in here.
Yeah.
He's actually working hard to get connected to us. But
And you see why I want him on the show? You see why I wanted him on? He's he's committed when he has his shit. Oh, God, it breaks my heart because this would have been just an all-around perfect Highside Hustle. And I thought we were going to have a hell of a time trying to repeat that after last week. Well, pretty damn good show here tonight, by the way. Pretty damn good show.
Little column A, little
Okay.
column B.
Oh, shut up. Stop it.
Are rabbit
Anything else
holes?
for me, Big Sexy?
God,
What's that?
no. Are rabbit holes? God, no.
I love it, rabbit holes.
boys, I got one for you.
All right, what do you got?
Ron Rutherford is still looking for some sponsors for his new sprint car team.
Okay.
Should we get the Highside Hustle on the side of that sprint car?
Sure. Let's do it. What the hell? Give him a couple bucks. Which, by the way, I did get a text here. We're going to be sponsoring Meg Schweitzer next year at Racing Extravaganza. She reached out to me. We're going to be one of her sponsors to help her go out and win that. So we're going to pull for her. So, a family and fun people to be around. So, yeah, we'll pull for her for next year. So, yeah.
How about we not talk about the off season?
Yeah.
When the
next year-
season
Did we
has
start
just
this
begun.
season yet?
Technically we have. I'm just saying. Breaking news. It just came out
Bep, bep.
today.
Yep.
Chris, let's go over the National Racing Network before I get my ass kicked here by Big Sexy.
Thank you.
Well, the rest of this week is quiet. However, next week we start the 12 weeks of iRacing hell back up. We will have the Fuel Premier Series on Monday nights. 30 plus cars minimum on their entry list every week. That should be fun. Tuesday nights we'll be back with something. TNT Series. And then Wednesday nights, the Sim Racers Club will be returning. They've got 2 weeks left in their season. Take a couple of weeks off, then they come back in early April. Thursday nights, the Indy Pro 2000 officials. And who knows, we might start doing some other stuff too. Wreckfest, maybe. We're just going to blow shit up on Wreckfest.
Oh, oh my. I love Wreckfest. I absolutely love Wreckfest. I'm interested. I'm very interested in that, Chris. And of course, you got your two favorite idiots to come back next Thursday night with the Highside Hustle, and we will continue our series on.
Yeah,
women
we get
in-
you two morons every week as well.
Yeah, how could you forget that?
Listen to the podcast. It'll be fun.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is always fun.
By the way, something
Yes.
that has just come up here, come to my attention.
Go for it.
Endurance go-karting at New Jersey Motorsports Park. Middle of March.
I thought they did that before. Huh.
They
Are we
say
talking, like,
protection plans
basically-
on the go-karts are $10 and are highly recommended. Something
believe
tells
that.
me we will use every one of those $10.
Yes. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. Interesting. Well, somebody's going to snap their neck doing that. But, whatever.
And
is
Not
what
it.
is.
oh my god,
Not
that sounds
it.
like a fucking terrible idea.
Big Sexy, you're up.
I mean,
Big Sexy.
whatever.
Whatever.
I'll break some shit.
It'll get them out of work for a week, so I don't
Yo,
think we'll
can I get
complain.
workman's comp through NRN?
That's a big negative, Ghost Rider.
just say you did. Just say you did it at Lowe's. I want to see hit that claim and see what happens. So how'd you break your neck here,
Yeah.
Mr. Rubright? Pallet jack.
You
The
see, what
lawyer
had
would so
happened
call him
was-
Mr. Rubright, too.
Mr.
Hey.
Rubright Senior.
Oh my god.
Adam, I love you.
All right.
Oh my god.
Let's go.
The shit show has gone on too long. Take us the fuck out of here.
Let's go home. All right, folks. That's going to do it for another episode of the Highside Hustle. Once again, thanks for Georgia Henneberry joining us on the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel Hotline. Next week, we will try to get Shea Judy back on the Fredericksburg Eagle Hotel Hotline. And, yeah, we'll continue our Women in Motorsports, Women History Month. We'll have another guest on. We'll figure out as the week goes. Maybe we'll do a third guest next week. Who knows? We'll see what the week brings us. Let's see what happens over the week. But hopefully enjoy the racing this weekend, wherever you may be going to see racing. If you get to stay home or you go out somewhere, go enjoy it, folks. And also be smart, be responsible. But also have fun.
You're one to
Outside
fucking
that.
talk.
So, yeah, I'm responsible, damn it.
Yeah, okay.
When I don't have to drive.
Okay.
Anyway, for executive producer Chris Graham, that's Big Sexy Adam Rubright. My name is Bert Wojcik. Keep on hustling, folks. We'll see you guys next week on the Highside Hustle. Enjoy the races.